For the thousands in attendance and the millions watching around the world, we are live and amplified. So let's get ready to podcast.
Fire it up.
Welcome, everybody, to another Live and Amplified Livecast. I'm your host, Tom Quiet, and we are back at it again with another amazing podcast. Today, we have a very special guest. We have Drew from Waves. How's it going today, man?
Good. I'm just Drew Cooper for myself, not from Waves.
Okay. Oh,
I'd be in that band.
Wait a minute.
Yeah.
All right, I screwed something up then because I was under the impression of something completely different. All right, we got Drew Cooper.
Oh, no worries, man.
How's it going today, man?
No worries. It's going, dude. Don't worry about it.
All right. Well, so first off, I want to thank you so much for jumping on here. For anybody that's just getting to meet you for the first time, what's kind of your background story? What got you into music?
Oh, man, I started playing music with piano as a kid and was a really big fan of that Midwest rock sound. Your John Cougar and Bruce Springsteen. And then as far as country music goes, it was really Garth Brooks, Clint Black, and then I guess your rock influence there at the time would have been Bon Jovi, but that's kind of what built the background I was on, coming from the Midwest. And so it's pretty simple music. It's nothing crazy. It's nothing too involved, but I like the story it tells.
Gotcha. And so when I was first giving your information, you were I was told you were based out of Texas, but now you're in Arizona. Did I get that?
Yeah. So no, I split my time. My wife and kids are in Tucson because that's where our support system is. Mm-hmm. And I spend a lot of my time out in Texas traveling, and actually even more so this summer, we're spending our time out on the road everywhere. Okay. And so it's been about 50-50 for the last year between being in Austin and being in Tucson. So as much as I can, stay out there to work. And then when I can, I have my wife and kids out there. But this week I got home from Mexico, and this is a much easier drive. So
yeah, for sure. And I mean, you get to travel through if you're driving from Arizona out to Texas, you get to travel through New Mexico quite a bit, which is what I'm familiar with.
Yeah, man, I love New Mexico.
Yeah,
I love the little towns. I'm a big fan of like the smaller the town in New Mexico, the better. Mm-hmm. I have a pretty cool story about when they shut down I-10 one time. We were on our way from. This is years ago, probably almost 10 years ago now. Mm-hmm. We're on our way from Tucson to play a show in Austin at a private event. They shut down the I-10 because the wind gets so bad and the dust comes across. And so we figured we could look at a map and figure our way around. We drove south for a bit until we couldn't go any further south because of the border. And we started driving west or east again. And we went through these small little ghost towns, and we lost so much time because we stopped and got out and looked around these ghost towns. That's kind of when I fell in love with New Mexico and its culture. It's a completely different culture than Arizona or Texas. Yeah, and so it was really neat. And then we drove onto a border patrol base by accident. And we got a little bit of trouble for that. But it was all worth it in the long run. It was a good time.
Yeah, for sure. I used to live in Roswell, New Mexico for a few years. So,
Roswell's a cool town.
Yeah, it is. I'm surprised not a lot of people have been to Roswell, or not as many people as you think been to Roswell, but it's a cool spot. People need to check it out more.
Yeah, my daughter actually loved it. We drove through there, and they had those two airplanes on stands downtown, and we were playing. We were on a road trip. And we were playing road trip bingo, and she's like, "Airplanes! Nice. you got to find some up close airplanes," and that's where they were. Yep. And so we stopped there. We had lunch. We decided to stay the night and kind of check it out. My son loves all the UFO stuff, so we made a day of it. It's pretty great.
Nice. Yeah, they're really finally starting to get behind the UFO stuff, which is exciting. Like as soon as I leave, they're like really starting to get behind it now. So
I'm going to tell you this. I hope I don't sound like a crazy man when I say this, but they're starting to agree with all the stuff they used to disagree with now.
Yeah.
Like the guy. So I feel like maybe they're about to tell us something. Like we're starting to be conditioned for the process. Like, oh yeah, aliens are real. Like all this stuff is real. Then one day they're going to be like, by the way, we've been working with these guys since the 80s.
Oh yeah.
And we helped them out in Roswell. And there's going to be a bunch of people that have since passed away that would be vindicated. And I'm going to be that guy that's on the horn, like on my Twitter feed going, this guy was right. This guy, I'm going to have to look him up. I don't know who they are now. I'm going to find them and I'm going to give them their day. Yeah,
for sure. I'm actually really mad. I'm going to miss the 75th anniversary of their of the land or the crash. So
man, was it 47 that happened?
Yes. So it'll be this year. It'll be this July. And I'm just sitting here like, I'm calling my buddy who still lives out there. I'm like, hey, are they still doing like music and stuff? What are they doing out there for this? He's like, man, wish I could tell you. Nobody really knows. I'm like, all right, well, I'm not going to feel bad if I don't make it then because I got to go up to Chicago because that's where I'm originally from. And
I'm originally from Springfield, Illinois, man.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
See, little things you don't know about each other.
Yeah. I was born on the north side in Rockford, Illinois. And then my dad worked for Midway Airlines. I don't know if.
Yeah, I remember Midway.
Yeah, he worked for Midway Airlines, and then we ended up going to South Chicago. So, yeah, it was
Are you a Cubs or a Sox fan?
Oh, I'm a Sox fan.
Thank God.
Yes.
Thank God. Yes. You're a good person. I'm a St. Louis Cardinals fan.
Okay.
So
this is the my lucky pillow.
There you go, man.
My lucky softball pillow. My sister got it for me for like 10 years ago or something. And I was like, it's a kid's pillow, but I'm going to keep it because why not?
Yeah, you should keep it.
Yeah. But no, that's cool. So you're originally from Chicago.
Springfield.
Springfield. Yeah, my bad. Sorry.
Right in the middle of the state.
I get so caught up in it's like whenever I talk to anybody that doesn't really know the layout of Illinois, they know like Southern Illinois or Chicago. You're either from Southern Illinois or Chicago. There's no other.
They know the area around St. Louis. They know the area around Chicago. But little known fact that Springfield is the state capital.
Yes,
and we are the home of Abe Lincoln's burial spot and his museum. Mm-hmm. And amongst other things we have down there. It's an older town. Mm-hmm. It's actually the second capital of Illinois. Mm-hmm. Kaskaskia was the first capital of Illinois.
Yep.
I don't know why I have all this random information in my head, but here it is. Thank you for tuning in to the Illinois Information Hour. This is what we're doing today.
The Illinois History Podcast.
Yeah.
Actually, that's what got me through college was I had to take two history classes, and they had an Illinois history, which constituted for like a full year. So it was going to be 2 classes essentially. And I was like, okay, cool. I'll do that. I've lived here my entire life. I should know everything about Illinois. I found out I didn't know nothing about Illinois.
There's a lot. Illinois is a weird little town, a weird little state. Sorry. It started out weird. It's gotten weirder.
Yeah.
Sure. We'll be back there playing some shows this summer. A little town called Tallulah, Illinois, and then in Springfield. Mm-hmm. So it'll be a good little stopover, see some family.
For sure. So from Springfield, what brought you out to Texas and then eventually to Arizona, or Arizona, then Texas, then back, however?
Yeah. So the way it worked out is my parents divorced, as many do. Mm-hmm. And my mom remarried. My stepdad got transferred out to Tucson, Arizona, which ended up being a blessing. I without that transfer that I hated when it first happened, I wouldn't have my kids and I wouldn't have met my wife. And I probably wouldn't be playing music the way I play it now. I discovered Cody Canada and like Cross Canadian Pat Green and all that stuff out here in Arizona before even going to Texas the first time. And then you get the opportunity to go out to Texas and you spend some time there and you immerse yourself in the culture. Mm-hmm. And, you find all these great artists. Like Texas is just full of artists. Mm-hmm. Like you can't, very rarely do you go to a bar and be like, that guy's horrible. if ever. You know,
Yeah.
I don't think I've personally never done that. I don't know if someone's done that when I've played. Maybe, who knows? But I've never left Texas without being impressed with the new artists I found or heard on the radio, or just the way Texas supports the people in Texas support live music. You know, it's a different. I try to explain to people like, well, so why'd you go out there? Why are you doing that? I go, because it's part of the culture there. It's a part of what people. It's part. I don't know. It's like part of the belief system. It's in the dirt. It's in the air, and so it does something. You know, that it's not background noise there. It is purposeful and presented and put up front, and it's cool.
Yeah. Well, because I think music here in Texas plays such a pivotal role in everything to do with Texas. Like, just you go to like, not camping trips. I was going to say barbecues. That's what I was looking for.
Yeah.
Music is present, and you go to like these dance halls. Like back beginning of the pandemic, there was always these talks about all the like old school dance halls that were barely holding on as it is, and now this pandemic comes in and they're going to wipe out all these dance halls. And so just music in general has been the forefront of Texas entertainment to begin with. So
yeah, well, and luckily, you know, there were some that were lost that shut down, and some that have shut down and came back, and some that were able to hold on and find a way to do things. You know, Green Hall's one of those ones that's been there forever and has managed to work its way through. And there's been a couple of new ones that have came up and out of the pandemic too. You know, giving singer-songwriters an opportunity to really get in front of people that haven't had the opportunity in the past.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And, you know, that goes to like, so last year we had a radio show that we were doing, and we were trying to get our show syndicated. Like, so we were on a station in Roswell, New Mexico, and we were trying to get it syndicated out here in Texas, because it was like, you know what, that'd be kind of cool. Like where my buddy lives, who is my co-host, he'd have a thing that he could kind of promote and call his own. Then I'd have something out here that I can promote, you know, so it kind of worked for both of us. And the one thing I noticed about every radio station that I approached was they all had this, it wasn't like a caveat, but they all had like an emphasis on, you have to play local music, or you have to dedicate so much of your time to local music.
Yeah.
So whether that's Texas Red Dirt Country or, you know, like whatever it is, you know, so that was really interesting and cool.
And that, you know, that's part of the reason, like, you know, I go out there, I spend so much time there so I could be a part of the community. I'm not just a guy who's going just to go. I go there to spend a lot of time, and, you know, got a place out there to stay. And, you know, I want to go see these shows. I want to support this community ground up, not just be, you know, a passerby that comes through and plays a couple shows and bolts out.
Yeah, for sure. So you came down here to Texas. You were here for a bit, and now you're out in Arizona. How are things? Or
it's so like I still have a house, and I still have a rent a place in Texas. And I still have a place here. So really, it's right now the summer. I have two older kids from a previous marriage, and so summertime is my time to really get time in with them. And then I have a newborn too. I have a 4-month-old little girl at the house. And so whenever I can have them all together, that's what I do. Yeah. Whatever it takes, kind of thing.
For sure. That's the important part. Like just making sure you enjoy and, you know, take advantage of all the time that you have, and try not to burn yourself out. Like that's one thing people keep beating into my head is don't burn yourself out, no matter what it is.
Oh, that's a real deal thing, man. I took some time off about 5 years ago. I just took a whole month off because I had worked, you know, you'll hear artists talk about how many shows they do a year. And when you're doing 180 shows in a same, you know, 6-hour radius, you know, from your house, it burns you out because you're seeing the same people. And there's nothing wrong with seeing the same people. But you got to keep moving. And that's the thing about it. When you go, you know, you got to, Texas is such a big state. You could play the entirety of Texas and never, maybe only double up your venues once or twice.
Yeah.
And, but then after doing that, I was like, man, I want to keep going. Like, let's start pushing these boundaries. Let's start going places we haven't been. Let's go do whatever we can do to go.
Yeah.
Spread the music. You know, I didn't write songs. If I wrote songs just for me to hear, I could sit in my house and play them all day and be perfectly fine. But I wanted to share. I wanted to have that connection with people. When you write a song and you sing it and you can see in their eyes that it means something to them, that's important to me. You know, that's really important to me.
When did you have that realization that was important to you? Like, was there a specific moment where you're like, okay, I'm working on this music and I want to share it with people?
Yeah, I could tell the moment that, you know, I always want to play music perform. I can say that honestly, but I didn't have that spark of inspiration to go head first into it, you know, without a plan B, with no backup plan. This is it. This either happens or it doesn't. And if it doesn't, I'm 6 feet under, you know, like that's the way it's going to be. And I was a bouncer and I'm walking around this club and I have Pat Green plays, Wave on Wave plays. And then the first 2 bars of 17 comes on and it just rocked my world. Like it still does when that song comes on now. It's on like every playlist I have. But when it comes on, that like something about my head, my heart goes, hey, like, and it puts a smile on my face. And that's what I knew, like, that's what I want to bring to people. That's what I want to have happen when someone hears our music. And that from that moment on, I just dove in head first.
For sure. And where were you were you still in Springfield when this happened, or were you already moved out?
No, I was at the University of Arizona when this happened. Okay. And it was really, you know, I was giving college like 65% of my time because I never enjoyed school. I never enjoyed the repetitiveness of school. So I like things to change. I don't like doing the same thing over and over again. And so, with that said, college was that repetitive thing that I hated. Yeah. And I lasted for about 3 semesters.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
And I was like, okay, I'm just wasting people's time and money at this point. Yeah. And so I left and I went to go work at a bar, and I ended up becoming a father when I was 23 and getting married pretty quickly after that. So then I got a real job for a while because that was the right thing to do, to take care of my family. And mentally that just about killed me. And so I had to make that under the guise of returning to school. Like I told everyone, I'm going to go back to school. I'm going to quit this job that was making great money. And I'm like, I'm going to quit this job and I'm going to go back to school. And I went down there. I filed for a student loan, signed up for classes, and I went to the first 2 weeks of classes. And that's how far I made at that time. Yeah. And then it turned into me playing music 3 nights a week, bouncing 4 nights a week. And then the bouncing just started going away. And it wasn't easy. It took a long time. There was a lot of eating ramen and a lot of counting your quarters and your nickels and your dimes and all the things you hear people talk about when they go through the process. But it's a real thing. Like it's a hard sell to people when they know, like, you have a good job. Hey, mom, dad, I'm gonna quit this job that has health insurance for me, my wife, and my son, and I'm going to go play music that has no guarantee of any kind. Yeah. What do you guys think about that? So imagine that conversation, and then having it 3 or 4 separate times, because had my mom, my stepdad, my dad, my stepmother, my grandparents, my other side of grandparents. Like it was a lot of, what do you think you're doing, man? And it was scary, but I wouldn't trade it now. Absolutely. Couldn't trade it now anyway.
Yeah, I feel that it's interesting, but to me, as long as you're doing what you enjoy and what makes you happy, that's to me, that's all that matters. But
Yeah.
at the time when you're giving up so much and then essentially dropping out of school, I don't know. It's a damned if you do, damned if you don't situation, I think. But
Yeah, I'm a big believer in I don't know how to explain it besides I like to think of it as a moment of clarity. And we're all going to have this moment of clarity.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be a moment of clarity before you die, mm-hmm. or before you lose your mind as you get older. You're going to have these little moments in which you go, man, I wish I would have done that.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't want those. I don't want any of those moments.
Mm-hmm.
I'd rather have a moment like I probably shouldn't have done that.
Yeah.
But here I am. Like that's where I was that nervous kid in high school that wouldn't ask a girl out. I was the kid that always held his tongue. And then I hated that. Mm-hmm. The only person I was ever mad about at that ever in my entire life was me, about abiding my process or my tongue to appease others. And mm-hmm. something about me changed where I just don't want to do that now. I'm going to work hard and I'm going to put my time in and just mm-hmm. go after it.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to wake up in the morning going, man, I should have done that.
Yeah.
You know?
For sure.
So,
for sure. So you've had a busy 2022 so far, as far as like releasing music and whatnot. Mm-hmm. What do you or you just released an album, correct?
Yeah. We released it was April 15th, it came mm-hmm. out. It's called This Life. Mm-hmm. It's part one of a 2-part album. We recorded the album at the 606 in LA, mm-hmm. which is the Foo Fighters studio, mm-hmm. Owned by Mr. Dave Grohl. And we did our last album out there, and we're able to do this one out there. And we went there with the intention of making one, mm-hmm. but things are moving at a pretty good clip. And so we ended up recording 20 odd songs. Mm-hmm. We were there for 10 days and got 20 songs done.
Yeah.
And so it became a double album. And nice. Then I realized I had a bunch of songs we didn't get recorded. And so we have some other little pop-up things that are going to come out later on this year.
Nice.
Because, COVID put all of us at home. Mm-hmm. And we had I know a lot of songwriters that had a lot of free time to write.
Yeah.
And so I don't want these songs to get stuffed in a notebook. I want to get them out. So there'll be another album shortly. We don't have the exact release date, but pretty quick. And then we have, you'll probably see 2 more from us this year.
2 more.
Small EP.
Oh, EPs. Okay. I was going to say EPs. 2 more albums. Holy crap. You guys really hit it hard.
Yeah. I try to write every day, and 95% of the time it's crap. Mm-hmm. And then the other 4% of the time it's just really polished crap. And then the 1% that's left is an okay song that if you work on a little bit longer, you get something good out of. Mm-hmm. And so that's I hate stuffing them in notebooks and leaving them.
Yeah.
So this is the way I am.
Yeah, for sure. So roughly about 30 songs you're going to release over the course of the course of 2022.
Yeah, just about. Yeah.
How many songs did you have to whittle that down from? Would you say was there?
Oh man, that's a really good question. I like to I'll run most of my songs by my wife mm-hmm. after I write them. And she's really great at telling me that she likes something, but her face can't hide it. Mm-hmm. And so I base it all off her facial expressions. Mm-hmm. So there's probably, 150.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, that seems about par for the course.
Yeah. And they weren't like overtly polished or done. They were just like they were 85% done. And I played for her, and she would be like, yeah, that's great. And then she'd like, with her face when I started, I'm like, okay, she does not like that song. Yeah. I mean, I've seen the same thing when I make dinner, or like walk out of the bedroom, like getting ready to go out with her, and I have some like horribly matching clothes on. I know that face from her. So putting music in front of her and realizing that's the same face, like maybe I should change something, or maybe that's not the song. That was, she really helped me do that. And then just whittled it down one by one. And we actually, I actually added 2 right before we left.
Okay.
Just because I couldn't finish them. I couldn't get them done. And my brain finally opened up. I was able to get them done. One's called New Heart, which is actually about my life. And the other one that we did is called Every Note. And we did this cool thing where I went to the band with a general key and lyrics and a melody. And I told them to finish writing the music. And I was able to give my band, the entirety of my band, and everyone that was in the studio that day helping out, co-write on the song.
Nice.
Yeah, because people don't realize that musicians and bands don't always get co-writes, and they don't always have that residual income from a song. But this way they do. I think it's something cool, and they have their name on it. And now they have a story to tell. They can go tell their kids they wrote it, and I was just a guy in the room for all I care. But
yeah,
it was a lot of fun.
Understood. What? So Madeline was the lead single for the song, or for the album?
Madeline was the lead single.
Why'd you choose that song for the single?
It's upbeat. You know, I think we'd all been stuck in our house for a long time, and I didn't want to put sad stuff out. And a lot of my favorite artists in Texas play a lot of sad music, and I thought to myself, I gotta be a little different on this one. And I went with Madeline. It was upbeat and it was moving, and it made me smile when I heard it the first time in the studio. And, you know, and people, when I played for my friends when we got recorded, their feet were moving. Yeah, you know, and it's something people can dance to.
Yeah,
and it to me, it screams the Texas sound. It's got a fiddle in it. It's got some guitars that are a little grungy. It's got that acoustic sound. It's got that 2-step beat. So,
yeah, but I've just recently, within the last few years, I've really started to appreciate really good fiddle players.
Oh,
it was the introduction to bluegrass music, and just watching fiddle players play and do their thing. Like 5, 6, 7 years ago, I would have been like, okay, fiddle player, cool. But over like the last 4 years or so, man, just some fiddle players.
Worth their weight in gold.
Yeah.
Like and it's not so much about, it is about the notes they play, but it's about the notes that don't play. It's knowing when to come in really heavy and really go get it. You know, on Madeline, that's Jody Bartula from the Cody Johnson band. He's playing fiddle on that. And we have a couple more songs on the next album too. And nice. That guy can play any style.
Nice.
Yeah, you throw a rock song at. I feel like you could throw an Alice in Chains song at him.
Yeah,
he'd be like, I can fit a fiddle in there, man.
Nice.
I can watch it. He's just an overall amazing musician, and nice. So that's one of those guys that we were lucky to have on there, and that was all because of playing out in Texas years and years ago, and playing with Cody Johnson years ago. Jody's just a good dude. The whole band, that whole crew, top to bottom, is just good people. Yeah,
actually, I think Jody's supposed to be out in Roswell, New Mexico soon, playing, maybe. I don't know. I think I saw a flyer for that. So
if it is, it's going to be a treat. If anyone in Roswell can make that, like that would be a treat. Jody's a player.
Yeah,
he is a player.
It's one of those. I don't know that once you said his name, I was like, wait a minute, where do I recognize that name from? And then he had played out in Roswell at this venue out there, and then I was like, oh, that's him. Okay, cool. That's really awesome.
Yeah, him and that. Well, first off, when you get a guy like Cody Johnson making music out there, he doesn't put bad players around him. You know, every guy in that band is top notch, both talent wise and personality wise. They are who they are all the time.
Yeah,
and that's that. I think that's what makes them so much better even than people realize, because their practice, it's not handed to them. They earn it. They practiced.
Yeah.
They love it. This is what they're doing. Like, and that's what makes them great, is that because they've done all those things, they can jump into anything short notice. And there you go. Like, and then they kill it.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. They're just amazing.
Nice. So This Life is the first album of a double album. Did you,
Yes,
do you have the release date for the second album finalized, or is that still kind of up in the air?
It's still kind of up in the air, but it will be August.
Okay. Gotcha.
So it'll probably be the end of August.
Gotcha, for sure.
That's what we're shooting for right now.
Hey,
so.
You gotta have a target in mind, or else you'll just kind of sit there and never release anything. Are you gonna do any more singles leading up to it? I noticed that you kind of re-released Whiskey and Smoke, or did Spotify kind of mess that one up?
Well, and so it was supposed to go out at a certain date.
Okay.
And then most likely it just it went out at the wrong time. But Whiskey and Smoke will be the second single that goes to radio. Okay. And it's already out there doing pretty well on its own. Yeah. It's moving pretty good. Yeah. And it's a fun song. You know, I've been kicking around that riff on that song for a year, and it was driving me crazy. So I had to get out of my head. Yeah. And I was finally able to write that song. Nice. Yeah.
When you have
version. Go ahead.
Okay. As I said, when you have a riff in your head like that, how do you kind of process that? Will you just like sit down and like, I just got to get it out of my head and write it? Or will you just kind of let it naturally move itself out?
That one was natural. Okay. That one was, I would sit there and every time I picked up a guitar, I played it. Yeah. To the point where my band was like, do something with it already. Like, stop playing that at sound check. Like, I would just sit there and play that riff at sound check. And they're like, do something, man, because we're tired of it. And same thing at home. My wife's like, what are you going to put to it? I couldn't tell you. Yeah. I have no idea. And then I'm pretty sure we had a fire in the fireplace. And I don't drink a lot at home. Ever. I don't drink in front of my kids usually. And if you do, I'm not judging anyone if they do. It's just a personal decision for me. But I want to say my kids were at their mom's. My older two at their mom's house. Our daughter wasn't born yet. My wife had fallen asleep on the couch. I had the fireplace going, and I went and got myself a big old whiskey rock. Of ice and poured some whiskey in there. And I want to say it was Bullet. Poured some Bullet in there. And let it sit for a second and took a drink. And when I did that, it really changed. That song came right out. So that was great. It was awesome. Like, it just happened. Like it fell out after that, and I was so thankful. Because then the next day, that riff was not in my head. Like I woke up and I was like, it's empty. Yeah. Empty. It's not this kicking around the back. And so, and that song really didn't change since the day we wrote it until the day that we recorded it, except for the fact that my producer made me take off all the effects I put on my guitar pedal. Yeah. He's like, hey, you're not a grunge band, dude. I don't know what to tell you. I'm like, oh, okay. That's fine. Yeah, fair enough. Well, they give you all these pedals and you want to use them all. Like, you have them all on your pedal board. And if you don't stop on each one at least one time, what are you doing with the pedal board? You don't, like the pedal board's not any good if you're not at least using it. So exactly. And I have to justify it because I'm already losing the battle with the guitars. You know, my wife would be like, how many guitars do you need? And I told her needs a funny word because I need more guitars. And then my sound guy would be like, how many pedals do you need? And I go, honestly, on this one, probably 3, but there's 6 on there, but only use 3 of them. Yeah. But that's mind your business kind of thing, Let me have what I have. Yeah. That way, at least I look cool, So that guy can play guitar. It's a lie. Yeah. I'm not that great.
It's like, let me look cool. And you don't know, I might need this pedal I haven't touched in 3 years. I might need it.
Yeah. You don't know what we're going to play tonight. I don't know what we're going to play tonight. It's like getting mad at like Dale Earnhardt Jr. for having a sports car. He doesn't drive a NASCAR anymore. He doesn't need a sports car.
Yeah.
But guess what? He has one.
Yeah.
Like, get off my case here. I'm gonna add more. Every time someone gives me hell, I'm gonna be that guy that has like 3 separate pedal boards that are looped together and never touches any of the pedals but the tuner. Yeah. That's gonna be me.
I used to have when I was like really heavy into film and stuff, I used to have like all this gear, and somebody would come up to me and be like, why do you have all this stuff? You don't need all these cameras. You don't need all this. I'm like, yeah, I do. They all have their own specific purpose. Yeah, I may not use it tonight, but I may need it tomorrow. And they're like, okay, Mr. Smartass, what is this? And they just start pointing out random things in my bag. And I'm like, well, that's this. And, it's just like, oh, I don't want to be quizzed right now. Like, just
I'm not going to go to your house and tell you, why do you have 3 different kinds of toothpaste? Get off my case, man. Yeah. Like, you do what you do. Yeah. If people would mind their own business more, we'd all be a lot happier. Yeah. I swear to you.
For sure. I 100% agree. So This Life is out now. How's the reception been for the album?
Oh, it's been great. This is our first time releasing an album with an actual team, when I had someone there to kind of hold the reins on my release process, because as an artist, I want to create music and go, here you go. Like, I just want to take it, throw it at, like, the day I get it from mastering, I want to put it online and give it to people. That's not the way it works. You got to really take your time and spend time watering the process. You got to really put some effort into it and talk to people and let them know what's coming. That way they're excited to hear it. And they're excited to share it and be a part of it. And so we did that, and it made all the difference in the world. Yeah, for sure. To go from having, not great following in other countries, pretty decent plays in other countries now, and getting some magazine write-ups and whatnot, and more importantly, having people almost the day it came out, within a couple of days of it coming out, singing the words back to the songs. Nice. And that's pretty surreal. Like, the album's 2 days old, and there are people there that sing every word to every song of the new album. You're like, that's cool. Yeah, that's really cool. Yeah,
that's got to be an experience in general. Just
it is. It really is.
Your music being that new, and they already know it. Like, that's cool.
It is. The coolest thing that ever happened, though. I'm sorry to interrupt, man. No, I got to tell the story. We got played on the radio. We got played on KOKE out of Austin, and I had a sheet of paper from when, like, a goals list from when I started playing music, right? And my one of my goals was to have one of my songs play next to a Cross Canadian Ragweed song. And then as I've gone along, I've become good friends with Cody Canada. And Cody's been in his family and Waves. That's my way. Both his boys are in Waves, and so this relationship is built and came along, and they've been way kinder to me than I deserve, or they would have to be to anybody. But they've been great to me, and I am consistently thankful. But the night that Madeline played on KOKE, the next song was 17. And it took every ounce of me not to cry in front of my kids. My son came up and was like, hey, Dad, are you going to cry? I'm like, no, go away. I'm not going to cry. You're crying. And he's like, no, it looks like you're crying. I'm like, shut up. Go away. No, I'm not crying. But, that's you. I'm not crying. I just put salt in my French fries. It got in my eye. Leave me alone. But it was one of the coolest things ever. Nice. That's awesome. So you've got This Life out now. You got the second album, and then you also mentioned that there might be 2 EPs coming up. Yeah. So a couple years ago, we went and recorded in Springfield. There's a church I was baptized in out there, and we got permission from the church to use it for a day to record an EP. And we put a little 4-song EP out. Oh, nice. And so this summer, we're going back in there. We did the same thing. Nice. And but this time it's going to be 10 songs. Okay. A couple new ones that aren't on any albums of ours yet. A couple that are on older albums or versions we don't do anymore. versions we do now opposed to the versions we did recorded. And then there's a bar that I started in called the Cow Pony. We did a live show. We did a live recording there several years ago, and we had two problems. We had a really bad buzz, and we couldn't figure out where it was coming from. And so my sound guy figured out how to scrub the buzz out of the recording. And then also we had a very loud woman who was extremely inebriated, who apparently sat right in front of a microphone.
Okay.
And was very, very loud on every song, to the point it worked its way on every track, like through my guitar tracks.
Oh, wow.
Like acoustic. So we had to figure out how to get a clean guitar track out of the tune. So it took us a while. We got busy doing other things, but we finally got it done.
Nice.
So we'll be releasing stuff from that this year too.
I guess as long as she wasn't being inappropriate, or was
there were a couple inappropriate and not mean things.
Yeah.
Just things you don't expect to hear come out of someone's mouth about you. And normally I don't hear it because there's a monitor or I have my in-ears in and I don't hear it. But in the recording, it is very evident about what is going on and what she is saying. And so you're like, oh dear God.
Nice.
Oh wow. And quite frankly, I'm a little afraid of the woman now every time I see her, because like, it was like, wow, if that you said that, what were you thinking? Like if that comes out of if that's what sneaks out of your mouth. Yeah. What do you think? Like, what were you actually thinking? I was like, oh,
is she like a regular at?
She was a regular. And then I think she got a job that took her to somewhere else. I'm not sure. I'm not there very often anymore. Yeah, but it definitely 100% scared. Like I don't scare easily in real like scary situations, but in some social situations, like I'm not great in social situations. You can ask people and other artists that know me. I'm usually pretty quiet until I have a couple drinks in me and I loosen up. Yeah, but even then I'm still pretty quiet. Yeah. Because I don't want to be I'm 6'5", 298 pounds. I don't want to be the guy that's big and loud. Like you can be one or the other in a social situation. On stage, I'm both. Yeah. But if I'm in a group of people, I don't need to be the center of attention. Yeah. If you're
6'5", you're already noticed pretty well. You don't have to be loud. People know you're there. Like it don't matter. Yeah. All right. Understood. Understand that. No, so that's cool. What's your show situation looking like? I saw on Spotify you got like a couple of upcoming shows.
Yeah, we actually have we'll be out. We have some time off right now. So I can actually be helpful with my children. So I'm taking some time off. But beginning of July, we'll be back out in Texas. We'll be at the Saxon Pub on the 6th. We will be in Kerrville. We will be at Billy's Ice. We will be at River Road Ice House. All those things.
You coming up to Waco at all?
We're working on that. We were working on something in Waco, and I don't know if it actually happened yet or not. So I'm gonna hold off on saying anything about it until it does. But yeah, Waco. We'd love to be in Waco. Actually, my dog's named Waco, which is
nice.
Yeah, nice. So he just heard his name, and
now he's excited.
Yeah, now he's like, oh, we're doing something.
It's sweet. Awesome. Love it. No, that's cool. Yeah. Waco. Obviously, Waco's where I'm based out of. So I always ask. Anytime a musician says they're coming to Texas, it's like, oh, we're coming to Waco. Or are you playing a show? No. We're going to see the Fixer Upper place or the Dr.
We're going
Pepper.
to see your Hat Works.
Yeah. Or we're going to the Dr. Pepper Museum, or we're just driving through on our way to Austin. And it's like, of course you are.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Even I'll tell you this, I've thrown up in Waco a couple times, and it's probably not a great thing to say, but I've pulled over that town leaving Austin and then like, I gotta take care of this. Yeah. Yeah. But Waco's a cool town. It's a cool town, man.
Yeah. I've thrown up in the parking lot of Buc-ee's, but never Waco.
Well, if you can't do it at Buc-ee's, where can you do it?
Yeah. Right.
I'm surprised Buc-ee's doesn't have like they have a specific area for walking your dog.
Yeah.
They have 9 million pumps for fuel.
Yep.
Like, why don't they have like, hey, we get this little room over here that has super cold AC.
Yeah.
You know, there's some Tub Chico in there too for when you're done to clean. You know, give you a fresh do over here.
Yeah.
Like, there's a really large toilet, and there's someone in there that's gonna rub your back.
Yeah.
You know, like,
I dig it. I'm down. Actually, my dad just went to Buc-ee's for the first time. He lives down in Florida, and they just opened one up in, I think, right around Daytona Beach somewhere. And
really?
He was up that way, and he was like, "Yeah, I finally get what Buc-ee's is all about." And I'm like, "Yeah, but that's a Florida's Buc-ee's. That's not actual Buc-ee's."
Yeah, no, like the first time I remember the first time I took some of the guys in my band about Buc-ee's, they were like, "Is this a Walmart?" I'm like, no, never say that again. This is Buc-ee's. This is what Walmart and Target want to be.
Yeah.
You know, this gets stuff done. You can roll into Buc-ee's at any time of the day if I whatever you need.
Yeah.
The bathrooms are always clean, which is a must when you're on the road.
Mm-hmm.
The fuel's usually right about even. You know, It's not too high, it's not too low. They have every drink under the sun you can want, and beef jerky. Every flavor of beef jerky, known to man, available 24/7. And you don't have to wait in line long.
Yeah.
These are all like little things that people don't realize how important they are until you have to go somewhere in the middle of nowhere, and there's 6 people at this gas station, and it's holding you up.
Yeah.
You know, like, because they're trying to make change for $100 bill.
Yeah. I had the last time I went to Buc-ee's, I had a buddy with me, and it was like right at that time where they were going to stop making breakfast and they were starting to make lunch. So it was like that changeover. And I went up to the center island there. I was like, "Hey, how long before you have brisket sandwiches and stuff like that ready?" And they're like, "Oh, it'll be about 15 minutes. I was like, "All right, cool. I'll wait." My buddy's like, "We're really going to sit here and wait for a gas station brisket sandwich?" And I'm like, "You've never been to Buc-ee's, so you don't
First
understand."
off, sir, watch your mouth.
Yeah.
Yes, we are going to wait for that. You know what? We're going to go over the sporting goods section for a couple minutes, and you'll be fine.
Yeah, we're going to
watch yourself.
We're going to go over here. We're going to go look at this. We're going to go get a drink, go to the bathroom. If you want chips or whatever, we'll grab that, and then the sandwiches will be ready, and we'll be ready to go.
Get yourself a T-shirt. You know, go get a cooler in your hunting license.
Yeah.
Come on, it's Buc-ee's. Dude.
Yeah, I love it. I love it so much. But so you've got some shows in Texas coming up. Is that primarily? Well, you mentioned you're going up to Springfield too to record.
Yeah,
so.
we're going to go through Texas. We're going to stop in Tulsa.
Okay.
We got a show with Cody Canada in Kansas City, and then we make the 6-hour drive, which is a horrible routing choice on my part, to go play Nashville for an evening, and then we drive up to Springfield, which is another 6-hour drive.
Yeah.
Instead of just the 4 it would take to go across. But hey, you know, sometimes you get excited to play these shows, and you don't necessarily look at what you already had on the calendar.
Yep.
And so we go play with Rio Tripiano's new band in a little town called Tallulah, and then we go play in Springfield.
Nice.
And we record for a couple of days, and we head up to Wisconsin and we play Country Thunder up in Wisconsin.
Nice. I've never been to Country Thunder. I've heard so many things about it. It's like maybe.
If you've heard good things and bad things, are all true. If you only hear good, no. If you only hear bad, no.
It's been a mixed bag. I hear. What's the big music festival in Chillicothe in Illinois? Summer camp or something, I think.
Oh, a summer stampede or
it's like a
country camp out,
something like that. And my buddy was like, "Oh, you don't want to go to that?" I'm like, "Why not?" He's like, "Look, it's just not good." And I'm like, "What makes it not good?" He's like, "Well, my buddy lives like a mile from where where they have to hold the thing, and he found drugs in the back of in his backyard after the music festival ended." And I'm like, "Okay,
sure his buddy just didn't get drunk the night before and lose his drugs, own drugs."
I don't know.
Come on, man.
I was just sitting there. I was like, you're at a music festival. That stuff's gonna be there regardless. It doesn't matter.
Hold on. You're telling me people do drugs at music festivals?
That's what I'm told. That's just what I'm told.
You know, I know I said earlier in this interview I'd never quit, but I may be out. I may be out now. That's to the side. That's what got me. You know, although on that note, if you do drugs, we do sell one hitters on our website.
That's funny. Nice. Yes, I love it. And that's ultimately why I want to go back to New Mexico. I mean, wait, what? So
what? Right?
Yeah, I didn't say no Texas Rangers. I didn't say that. Calm yourself. Yeah. But anyway, no, that's cool. I'm actually getting ready to make a trip up to Northern Illinois here in the next 3 weeks. I think I leave in about 3 weeks. So
yeah, man, if you're up by if you're up there when we're there, just give me a holler.
We'll be
there. That Country Thunder is just across the border in Wisconsin. So that's the 22nd and 23rd, I believe, of July.
Okay.
And then but we'll be in Springfield the 16th and 17th.
Gotcha.
Right in that area. I'm
leaving. So we're going up to bury my mother. My mother passed away last July. And so my dad finally pulled rank and was like, you know what? Her ashes have been sitting at your sister's house too long. We got to do something. And so July 1st, we're going up there to bury it. And then I'm like, all right, well, afterwards I'm going to Nashville. So Rockford, Illinois to Nashville from Texas. That's just like the worst routing choice ever. So
yeah, dude, I get it. I'm doing that Kansas to Nashville to Springfield. I get it.
Mm-hmm.
So and honestly, my grandfather's buried in Springfield, so that's always the first stop I make getting into town.
Mm-hmm.
Is go see him and open up a Dos Equis or Miller Lite or Coors Light.
Yep, I think I might have to break my golden rule of never drinking Miller Lite, but for my mother, I will do it.
Yeah, I'm not a Miller Lite fan unless they want to give me money, and then I'll be their fan. But I've been drinking Dos Equis and then Shiners.
Oh, Shiners.
The lights. Oh, the Ruby Redbird Shiner is my favorite.
Yeah.
My absolute favorite. The problem with that is I'll drink a whole case by myself.
Yeah.
And I'll be like, why do I feel bad the next morning? That's because you drink a whole case of Ruby Redbird, dude.
Yeah.
That's me, man.
It's like you think it's a great idea, and then the next morning it's like, oh, that's why. Wonderful.
Yeah, you think it was a great idea until it's not. That's pretty much how I operate when I'm playing music. Like, this is going to be a lot of fun, and then the next morning I'm like, it no longer is a lot of fun because I'm paying for it. You know, it's like getting a credit card. It's great until you have to pay the bill.
Yeah.
So
for sure. But I don't want to keep you too much longer here. It's been an absolute blast chatting with you. One thing that we do with everybody that comes on the podcast is we play a fun little game called Rapid Fire Randomness.
Let's do it.
And so I have a random question generator, and I'm going to ask you 10 questions from the generator, and we'll just kind of see where we end. So
I'm ready.
All right. Rapid Fire Randomness. Which Marvel Cinematic Universe character would you want to date?
Oh, who's the one? I can't think of her name. Now I feel, I can't think of her name. It's redhead.
Scarlett Johansson's character?
No.
Or no?
The Scarlet Witch.
Scarlet Witch, gotcha. Have you ever wanted to tell someone you love them, but chickened out?
Yes. Yeah, many times in high school. And I don't think it was really love them, but I wanted to tell them. I was like, oh, I'm in love with this girl. And my friend's like, no. She just wore tight jeans today.
Yeah. If you could switch the bodies with one person, who would it be? Switch bodies.
Rock.
Yeah.
The Rock.
Fair.
But I want to keep my hair. So I had to figure something out. But The Rock, the dude's jacked. He looks like, The Rock.
What is the furthest lengths you've gone to pull off a practical joke?
Oh, man, I still have something going from like 4 years ago.
Nice.
I have a buddy of mine who I send the worst magazines to no matter where he moves to. and he doesn't know who does it, and I do it all the time. His poor wife is extremely religious, and she has to deal with that. Yeah,
amazing. Amazing. I hope he didn't just give up the practical joke, but
no, it's okay. He will figure it
out. Okay, fair enough. When was a time you felt most judged?
Oh man. Wow, that's a hard question. I don't know. I feel judged all the time, but I really don't care.
Mm-hmm.
There was a time when I felt pretty judged for, I got asked to play a Walt Wilkins song and I didn't know it. I don't even remember what the song was. I didn't know at the time. And this guy was like, "Oh, you think you're a musician, don't you?" I'm like, "Well, apparently not, buddy. I'm sorry. I don't tell you."
Yeah. That's a whole thing. People think you know every song ever written, and it's like, no, not really.
Yeah, I only know like half of them. So
yeah. What was your favorite subject in high school?
History.
What is something you've dreamed about doing your entire life but haven't been able to do it yet?
I want to get my pilot's license.
Really? That's interesting.
Yeah.
That's really cool. If magazines were to become obsolete, what would you do with your time?
That's the same thing I'm doing now. I like the last magazine I read was like a Sky Mall in 1997, I think. Do comic books count? I still read comic books from time to time.
That was a really random question, but I have,
you have to ask it, man. Yeah. Does the Sweetwater magazine count? Because I read that one when it comes to my house. Yeah. Books. I guess the answer would be books.
Okay, fair enough. What has been the pinnacle moment of your musical career?
Oh, that's a really great question. Having Cody Song play after mine one time was pretty amazing. My kids, the first time my kids sang along with me in the car to request my music, that was pretty great. I'm just go with this one. The first time I ever heard it played on the radio in a town in a state I didn't live in. That was pretty amazing.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And then what is something normal to you, but other people find strange?
I walk into walls a lot. I'm pretty broad shouldered, and I know you were expecting like some musical based answer.
No,
but I'll be walking somewhere and I'll catch a wall, and out of nowhere, I'm like, I saw the wall coming. I normally know how wide my shoulders are, but today apparently I forgot.
Yeah.
And I'll catch that wall, and there's been times when I've put holes in walls with my shoulder, but not on purpose. And there's been times the walls I've walked into them and I've bumped into people, but I walk into things. And I always think I hear someone in my house when I'm asleep.
Yeah.
So I wake up a lot thinking someone's in the house. But, yeah, I think that's pretty normal to me. It's pretty weird to everybody else.
Fair enough. I was waiting for something like putting peanut butter on your Oreo cookies or something. I don't know.
No. I'll tell you something that I think is weird. It's people that put their Oreo cookie in their milk and then like push it down with a spoon and then eat it with a spoon, like instead of being an adult and using your fingers to put it in there or putting it in your mouth and mixing it in your mouth. I don't get it. Or people that microwave their ice cream. I know there's someone out there who's going to piss about this, but why? It's ice cream. Yeah. If you just want a regular cream,
go get it.
Get it. Like,
I get it.
Why are you microwaving it?
I get it. I 100% get it.
People are nuts, man.
Yeah. It's the Oreos, spoons, eating it. That's a little strange. I was always 2 fingers, and dunk it as deep as you can, and then just chuck it right in.
That's the Midwest. That's the Midwest way to do it. In my opinion, the only way to do it correctly. Now, if sometimes you don't want to say, let's say you're somewhere fancy and you want to get milk on your finger, you should put it in your mouth. You put some milk in there, you let it mix in your mouth, and then you go. You know, that's the fancy way to do it. That's your elbows off the table using your soup spoon way to do it. But
actually, I saw, not to sit on this topic for too much longer, a few years back, they used to have a cookie dipping utensil where you
that's ridiculous.
It was like a little loop thing, and you'd put the cookie right there and you just dip it in and eat it like it's off a fork or something. And I'm like,
that's what's wrong with America. People need to dip their own freaking cookies.
It's like,
I'm passionate about it. I almost cussed right now. Like, I was about to drop an F-bomb because I'm passionate about this. Like, do your own work, people.
Yes.
Come on. It's just a cookie.
I love it. It's amazing. And now I'm going to go eat some cookies after this. Thanks.
Good. I'm happy somebody is.
I'm going to go eat it the right way with my milk dipped with my fingers. And you guys, yes.
That's called the American way, buddy. You do it that way.
Absolutely. But it's been an absolute blast chatting with you. For anybody that wants to check out your music or any of that fun stuff, where's the best place to find you online?
iTunes, Spotify, Amazon, all those good places under Drew Cooper. And then the website is drewcoopermusic.com. And then Instagram, if you're bored, is at Drew Cooper _music.
Awesome.
I'm pretty sure it's a big picture of my face with a hat on. It's way too small for my head. So
who made that fashion? Was that your choice for fashion, or?
That was me on my way to my first Mile Zero festival at 5:00 in the morning at the airport. And I took my buddy's hat off because he fell asleep and I put it on, and it just looked horrible. So we took a picture of it, and now I put it everywhere.
Nice.
If I set your standards low when you see me the first time online, you won't be depressed when you see me live. So
I get it. But once again, thank you so much for hanging out with us. Absolutely appreciate it. Whenever you want to come back on, feel free to reach out. We'd love to have you.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it.
Yeah. Other than that, thank you everybody for hanging out with us, and we will see you all on Thursday.